This makes me want to have a fried brain sandwich after this. Yoo-hoo! And thanks for tuning in to another awful movie review.
Lights!
Since this is such an original topic, how's about we take a look at yet another science fiction horror flick involving brains. This is The Brain Eaters, a low-key genre film released during the late 50s, which shockingly barely exceeds an hour. It's a story full of little plot twists, which I couldn't care less for.
Then on that Saturday shortly after midnight, a living nightmare began.
But just before we get going, if there's a bad movie you'd like me to review, leave me a comment down below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, let me know your thoughts and feelings on The Brain Eaters.
Well, I suppose now's as good a time as any.
Small rural American towns really can't catch a break when it comes to horror movies. There's always something going on. In this one, a couple witness a spaceship come down to Earth, but it's obvious that budget was a real problem because the crash looks like this. A vessel shaped like a party hat and made from indestructible material.
Don't you think it wise to be armed?
Yeah, bring your gun in there and don't hesitate to shoot at the slightest moving thing. You've got the right idea.
I never met a man who thought so little of his own abilities.
It's not too long until they find out it's not empty. There's something creepy lurking inside. Those are the brain eaters in question. Some sort of bug that latches onto the back of people's necks and controls them. It reminds me a lot of the alien slugs from Night of the Creeps before its time.
Are you thinking the same thing I am?
And that's when Mr. Budget becomes an issue again. The creatures look like big black dust bunnies with antennas. And for some reason, one guy thought it was a good idea to make them sound like if someone's breathing. In fact, the producers had so little money that you almost never see the brain-eating parasites. They're always off-screen. You only get the privilege of witnessing these things for like 30 seconds. But by the looks of things, you're not missing much. In fact, you're not missing anything by not watching this. In fact...
Now, I want you to listen closely to everything I have to say and not repeat a word to anyone.
The quality is so embarrassingly low that the editors could sometimes not hear the actors' lines after being recorded. Shouldn't that say something about your movie, when even your own coworkers can't understand what's going on? This is why they added a narrator for some scenes. While I think he's unnecessary for certain situations, he's not detailing every single little thing that happens either, unlike in other awful films I've reviewed, so I'll have to give him credit for that, I suppose. In fact, the people making this movie were so broke that Ed Nelson wore the same coat from his previous picture, Night of the Blood Beast, in order to save money.
This is to be kept strictly confidential, Doctor. Will you make your report out that way?
Produced by Roger Corman, by the way. I'm just saying.
I don't know whether you gentlemen are aware of it.
But it doesn't really matter if the producers didn't have two nickels to rub against. I actually think it's honorable for a film to accomplish so much with just so little. Unfortunately, The Brain Eaters accomplishes nothing, apart from maybe disengaging me within the first 15 minutes. I will say it bears its name well. The stupidity of the story did start to pick at my intelligence a bit.
Well, some of this is fact and some of it is scientific hunch.
But the movie turns upside down during the second half of this crap fest. The audience finds out those things aren't from outer space, but from inside the Earth.
No one's been up there, sir. You can be sure of that.
With the craft, which apparently came from under the soil, so I don't know why there would be a big flash of light in that case, comes two scientists who had gone missing several years before resurfacing out of nowhere. And so they brought back with them those 200 million year old brain eaters from the Carboniferous period. One of them is basically dead, and the other one has turned into some sort of Obi-Wan Kenobi, sitting on his throne inside the spaceship with fog everywhere. He wishes to create a new social order with these brain eaters. Wait, what? I can't believe I just said that.
There's something funny going on here.
Overall, this is one of the worst and most poorly made sci-fires of what was the golden age of science fiction. If Poverty Row Studios were still in vogue when this came out, this would be the type of shit they pushed to people. Wooden acting, grainy camera and sound quality, and generally no fun at all. What an awful movie.